Almost ready. Okay, I hope we are live now. I will ask my assistant Nelly to confirm if we are streaming, if everything is fine. Welcome to everyone officially. This is our new moon webinar. We will talk about this exciting and I would say exceptional new moon. It's not an exaggeration. You will see for yourself that it's a very, very special new moon, which can bring us hopefully the big changes that we are waiting for. Okay. So seems like it's working well on YouTube. Welcome to those who are joining us on YouTube. So, before we get started, let me know where are you from. Type in the chat. Where are you joining us from? I'm pretty sure different parts of the world, different places, different time zones. But one thing that unites us, I'm pretty sure, this is our love for astrology. Great. Rome, Frankfurt, the UK, Lithuania, New York, Connecticut. Wonderful. Greece, Romania, Canada. Great. So obviously today we will talk about, but before we get started, I have one suggestion, kind of an assignment for you. I want you to set an intention for yourself. What would you want? What do you want to find in this webinar? I'm about the long-term goals. We will talk about them. Of course, the new moons are amazing. That's the main purpose of our meeting. For the next 1 hour or so, what's your intention? Do you Operation. That's one of my favorite. Okay, Rhonda says that the feed is freezing up. Nelly, can you please confirm, or the others as well? Okay, we'll fix it. Just a moment. And that Mercury is retrograde. I will switch my internet connection. I might be gone for a moment or so after I change it. Okay. Me? Okay. Is it still freezing? A bit better. Because we are many people, but we'll figure this out. Have a little patience. A little patience. I'm waiting to appear here so that I can switch to okay. I changed it. It should be better any minute now. Okay, just let me know. Is everything okay now? Can you hear me? Better. Okay, perfect. So Mercury retrograde, my friends, it's all normal. Okay, so again, I repeat, I want to invite you to set an intention for yourself. What would you like to receive? What do you need the most right now for yourself? And don't overthink it. Just be spontaneous. Trust your gut. Okay. So after our little technical situation, we are ready to begin officially. What we are going to do, first of all, we will talk about the new moons generally. We'll talk about this particular new moon, of course, and we will look at the different energies that are mixing. It's an exceptional new moon because we have 6 planets triggering the sign of Aquarius, including Jupiter and Saturn, which will stay there for the most part of the year. So this is a very strong impulse, very powerful, and a great opportunity to switch things, to change, and we are talking about radical changes. So we will talk about the different areas, the different planetary combinations. Also, I will discuss what the influence will be for each sign. So as usual, I recommend to check what's happening. Is there someone with their mic on? Please turn it off. Thank you. We will talk about each sign. So please check your sun and rising sign to understand in which area you can concentrate, which will be important for us. And after that, I will answer your questions. So if there is something specific that you are interested in, I will try to answer, of course, as many questions as possible. Okay, perfect. This new moon is really special, and it takes place on Thursday, the 11th of February. And after that, we also have the Chinese New Year. This is like some kind of reset. This is like a great opportunity to start something and actually to reset and reprogram your whole life. The other thing after this webinar is another program which starts after the new moon, a 12-day program which is called Create Your Own Life. At the end, I will share more about it, but this video is a great preparation. You may decide to join us. I would ask my assistant Nelly to post the link for those who haven't joined us yet. And I know that we have already people there. Even if you don't want to join the program, you will still get lots of value in this webinar. But if you want to reprogram your whole life, this is a great opportunity, because the belief is that after the 12 days after this new moon, you can focus on different life areas and you can reprogram them. So extremely special, extremely powerful. Let's get started. I will also share my screen at a certain point to show you the chart and how it looks like and how the planets are all together in Aquarius. First of all, new moons. Why are we so excited about them? What's the special thing about them? They trigger the sun and the moon, the two most important planets in astrology. And they mark new cycles. We have one of those approximately once a month. And this is the time when figuratively you can plant the seed for something that you want to manifest, something that you want to grow, something that you want to be part of your life. So just like if you imagine that you are planting a seed, after that it grows, there is a cycle. It grows, then it gets to a peak state, then it slowly goes down until the next cycle. So each new moon is amazing for new things, it's like a new flow of energy that you can focus in a particular area. Sensitive people can feel this even energetically. Even, you know, how much energy you have, how much motivation you have. So it's really obvious. Just like, for example, some people can sleep very well on full moons. Other people can feel even the energy shifting around the new moon as well. So generally, I think we agree that new moons are special, they are interesting, we are excited, and those are the times when we can plant the seeds. So that's universal, that's relevant to every new moon. This new moon is in Aquarius. Aquarius is a special sign because we are, in my opinion, already in the era of Aquarius. I guess you are familiar to those really long eras which last literally for thousands of years. The previous one was the Pisces era. And we are entering the next one. We are kind of on the window or on the fence. In my opinion, we are already there. And this new moon, with all of the aspects, all of the planets which are gathered, I think will trigger even more the new wave, the kind of like the new world that is coming. So what should we do? Prepare for a change, prepare for something new, for something different. Aquarius is also a sign which is focused on the future vision, our ideals, us as humanity, the different communities, topics like equal rights, topics like innovations, technology, radical changes. Science also is related to Aquarius. So those are the areas where we can really expand. I'm pretty sure that you are familiar with a very popular technique for writing new moon desires, what you want to manifest in your life, what you want to happen, some kind of goals. And the best approach is if you use the meaning of the sign. And of course, if you combine that with the house which is triggered in your chart. So with Aquarius, I would invite you to think about what would you like to change? Where do you need more inspiration? Where do you need to be more creative? Those are the main things that Aquarius can bring us as a gift. And of course, this is also about one of my favorite things is our ideals. What's the ideal vision for yourself and your future? Think about it, write it down, be specific. This is a great time to visualize and to imagine what do you want to have next in your life. Of course, astrology is related to Aquarius as a sign, so we are seeing more and more interest in this area, and I'm pretty sure that in the future also people will use this amazing knowledge. So now let me share my screen. Okay. This is the actual chart of the new moon. As you can see here, the sun and the moon with 4 other planets. So it's not just any new moon. This is a new moon which includes a stellium of 6 planets. That, my friends, is extremely rare, extremely rare. And the first thing that we should talk also is Mercury, which is retrograde. We already felt this influence, our internet connection, all of that, the delays, I guess that you are feeling this in your own way as well. It's interesting because when Mercury is retrograde, we say that generally it's not a good time to start new things. So there seems to be a little contradiction at first because, okay, the new moon tells you start something new, but Mercury retrograde tells you, or the astrologers tell you, okay, but wait a little bit. It's not the best time. We should put everything on hold. Personally, I'm not scared of Mercury retrograde. I don't think that we should stop living, that we should literally like freeze everything. Yes, Mercury is specific. Mercury brings what it brings, that's true. But this is a great time to look inside ourselves. When Mercury is retrograde, you can get closer. The outer communication is worse. That's true. I think we would agree with that. One-on-one, like, live communication can be more difficult. Technical online communication, all of that, that's true. So the outer connection is worse, but the inner connection is much better. And I think that that's the point of those regular cycles. This is a time when we should detach a little bit from the outer noise and to look closer into ourselves. What do you want? What do you need to reassess? What are you ready to let go? Those are some wonderful questions to ask. And of course, Mercury retrograde is also great for restarting things. So I want to invite you also to think about your ideas, your projects that you might have forgotten or left or postponed or whatever. This is a great time to actually bring them back to life, so to speak. Or if there are some kind of mistakes or things that haven't been completed, this is a great time to do so. Another thing is that Mercury is actually feels really comfortable in Aquarius. This is the exalted position for Mercury. So Mercury can really help us to look at things from a different perspective. It feels strong there. So again, the focus is internal. Ask yourself, trust yourself. And especially if we neglect our intuition, our inner voice, I think that 2020 was a very transformative year, and for good or for bad, we had to stay more time on our own. And I personally believe that there is a meaning behind that. It's not just a punishment for humanity. There is a lesson. And one of those lessons is obviously we need to communicate differently, but also we need to reassess, reevaluate, and also spend more time to find our own truth. So Mercury retrograde, I think, can help us in this situation. And The other thing is that Mercury is retrograde until the 20th. And this new moon will affect us for much longer time. So you might, if you want to follow all the good principles, you might be more careful during the first week after the new moon. You may use the time to prepare. You may use this for some self-exploration, brainstorming, all of that. And after Mercury turns direct, you can really start the brand new things. But again, you may really have some wonderful insights because of Mercury retrograde. The other amazing thing about this new moon is that we also have an exact conjunction between Jupiter and Venus. So on the same day, the new moon is on Thursday, the 11th of February. Venus and Jupiter are exactly in conjunction on the same day. This aspect is also really helpful because those are the two benefactors in astrology, or the planets known as the best planets in some way. I personally believe that every planet has a positive side. There are no really bad planets, but the truth is that Jupiter and Venus are really the planets that can bring us the abundance, the gifts, the opportunities, usually in a nice way, usually in a way that we would enjoy it. It will be pleasant. It will be nice. With Saturn, it could be different, but Venus and Jupiter, they are amazing. And this concentration of energy is also not a coincidence. So I'm pretty amazed. I'm honestly deeply amazed by this combination. So we have the new moon, and exactly at the same time, Jupiter and Venus also part of the new moon. In my opinion, this new moon can be extremely abundant, and this can be a great time to reevaluate things. Another interesting thing about Venus and Jupiter, except the fact that they are the two benefactors, something that they share. They are both related to values, but from a different point of view. Venus represents our own values. It's very popular that Venus is the planet of love. I think that more or less everyone knows that. But Venus is also the planet related to our own values. What do you like? What's important to you personally? That's Venus. Jupiter, on the other side, I apologize, but that's my third webinar for 2 days, so my voice is a little low. Jupiter, on the other side, is the planet which represents social values, or the community values, or a little bit like the standards that other people set. And in this conjunction, I think that there is also some kind of message and opportunity for us to reevaluate this, and everyone will find different answers. There is no, like universal message, okay, we should all follow this recipe. I think that the aspect is inviting us to reconsider and to reevaluate our own values and the standards that society brings. Are your values in alignment with the social values? And do you want them to be? Or are you following too much the standards of other people, or what's kind of like, what the culture expects of you, so to speak? And all of that, again, is happening in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius likes radical changes. Aquarius likes to be different. Aquarius likes to follow its own path. So another important theme could be, am I really in alignment with my true values? Am I pursuing the dreams of other people? Am I doing something because it's expected of me? It could be expected from your family, your culture, your community, different possibilities. So that's something I think that we should embrace and we shouldn't neglect. And of course, from the more kind of like popular side, the aspect can bring us more love, can make us more optimistic, can bring us abundance, can bring even in relationships some kind of opportunities and growth and different perspective. The gift of Jupiter as part of this new moon is that it can help us to look at things from a more philosophical perspective. So whatever you want to do, now is the time to do it in a different way, to change your own philosophy, to work with your limiting beliefs. The mind is really active because there are 6 planets in air element. There are no planets in fire, by the way, and 3 planets in earth. So the dominant elements on this new moon are, first of all, air, then the earth. This can be actually a very productive combination because air can bring us this new philosophy, this new perspective, new vision. Air represents the ideas. But if we count only on the air, it could be a little bit like we have an expression to build castles in the sand, so to speak. So it could be imaginary, it may not be realistic, you may not follow through. What can help the air to be more consistent and to follow through is the earth element. So I think that that's actually a great advantage for us. The strong air can allow us to have those new visions, new ideas, this new philosophy. The earth can keep us more grounded and can help us to materialize those ideas. And this is also one of the themes which might be experienced as a challenge because Uranus and Mars are squaring the whole new moon, and Uranus and Mars are in Taurus. So in certain way, we have a major conflict between Aquarius and Taurus. And when I say conflict, I don't necessarily mean that this should be only negative. This week, I posted one video on my channel about the squares and the oppositions. I won't share the same thing again, but if you're interested to learn more about those aspects, you can watch the video. The main idea is that the squares, those are the aspects that we have now, are opportunities for big changes. Yes, they're not comfortable. Yes, we may feel some resistance from the outer environment, from other people, from things that are kind of like rules and principles. But those are the aspects that can bring us the energy to break through the limitations. It's always a question of balance, of course. I'm not saying that we should forget all the the rational perspective and we should go all in and take incredible risks. It should be a balance, but the challenge is really between maybe being scared to take risks, maybe being scared of the unknown, being scared that you may lose your safety, and at the same time the feeling that, okay, I can no longer do the same things all over again. It's a very typical conflict for this, for those aspects and those particular signs. Taurus is the sign of stability, fixed earth sign. It wants everything to remain the same. It's very, it resists the change. It may even stay in a situation when it's difficult, it's bad, but at least it's the known, the well-known. Aquarius, on the other side, can be kind of the opposite polarity. The polarity of taking risks without caring about the consequences, being reckless, extremely impulsive. So obviously none of those polarities will work well for us. We need to be in the middle. We need to find our own balance in this situation. But one of the major themes is to change our beliefs and our own vision. And finally, we get to Saturn. We won't forget Saturn because Saturn is also part of this new moon. Even though Saturn seems to be away from the actual new moon, if we count the degrees, they're around 17 degree orbits. But because of the other planets which are close, Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, indirectly Saturn is also in conjunction with the new moon, which makes it part of the whole picture. And Saturn has its own energy. Saturn can make us more cautious, more careful, maybe even afraid. It's totally normal if currently you feel afraid. If you feel this rising need for a change or something new, for something different, and at the same time, you might feel stuck, or you may not know exactly what to do, or you may even be scared, and that's totally normal. On top of that, we have the aspect between Saturn and Uranus. Look, it's pretty close to being exact. Also, a major conflict which triggers the same themes: innovation, change, excitement, and on the other side, the stability, the well-known, but also maybe a little boring situation. So finding the balance is the answer here. Okay, so 6 planets all together. Wherever they are in your chart, they trigger in a really strong way particular areas in your life. And in a moment, we will talk about each of the signs. So I suggest usually that you listen to your sun and rising sign in order to see which area can be really concentrated for you. And also in which area you should focus all of your attention, maybe plan those new things, maybe focus on the brand new stuff and do it the way that we described, to think about the values, your philosophy, to rediscover some internal insights, to also think about your goals, your beliefs, and of course, not forget about being cautious and reasonable. One thing, by the way, I want to also add about Saturn. One thing that Saturn really likes the most, it's to be reasonable. It means to be logical and also to do the right thing. If we are doing the right thing from our own perspective, we won't have problems with Saturn. So my advice is, whatever you want to materialize in your life, whatever goal you want to define for yourself, for all of us who will work in the program and who will focus on the different life areas within this 12-day program, ask yourself also what would be the right thing to do for yourself, but also for everyone else. And also, don't forget that Saturn is the planet of justice, which means if you deserve it, if you work really hard for it, and also if this is the right thing for you, it will happen. It may not be usually as fast as we want, it may not be really simple, but it will come. So as a Capricorn, I really like this about Saturn, that it doesn't forget. He doesn't forget. All right, so let's talk about each of the signs. Again, listen to your rising sign, your sun sign as well. If you are not sure about your rising sign, you can use a free birth chart calculator on my website, marsstars.net. You will find it there pretty easily. Okay, before I start with the different signs, I also want to invite you to check the degree. So as we see, overall, the whole sign is triggered. Saturn is on the 7th degree. The Moon and Jupiter are on the 24th degree. So we have planets in the beginning of the sign. We have planets almost at the end of the sign. So if you have any planets in Aquarius, if you have your sun sign, your rising sign in Aquarius, this is extremely important time for you when you can be personally involved in something new, when you personally can plant the seed for something that you want to materialize in your life. But also pay even more attention to the exact degree of the new moon. After all, it brings the most accentuated energy. And this is the 24th degree of Aquarius. If you have a planet or a cusp of a house within 5 degrees, it's a very strong trigger, very strong impact. Sometimes even larger orbises can be triggered. So for example, if you have a planet even around the 15th degree in Aquarius, obviously it will be triggered as well. But the closer it is to your sun and moon, the more powerful the energy will be. Okay, so now let's go through each of the signs. We start with Aries. For Aries, the major life area which will be triggered is their future vision, their ideals, their friendship, their way of communicating with groups, with other people, with people who share the same ideals. It would be a great time, for example, to really make a picture of what you want to materialize in the future. And if you want to communicate with people in a different way, if you are hungry for meaningful communication, it's a great time to find a new community, a new group of people who will share the same interests, the same themes that will be interesting to you as well. It could be a book club, it could be a mastermind group, it could be an astrology class. So focus on something that will connect you with other people, people that will also allow you to grow together, who will provoke you intellectually in a positive way. And of course, as we said, also your future vision. How do you imagine your best future? What do you want to have there? And which are your real ideals, but your very own ideals, not, the culture, the family, society, and overall, but your personal vision about the future. For Taurus, the influence is actually really strong. And one of the most important houses are triggered, actually. It will affect, first of all, their career, their social status, and their position as an authority or their communication with other authority figures. A great time to make major changes career-wise. Again, everything that we talked about, the reevaluation, the self-discoveries, the values, your own values, comparing them to the social requirements in a way. You should do the same, but related to your career. Is there a business that you are passionate about, something that you are really excited, but for whatever reason you have postponed that, or it's on hold, or something else? Focus on that. Make the changes. It's about innovation and radical changes. So for Taurus, it's really one of the most visible changes, because the new moon triggers the 10th house, and 10th house is kind of like the most obvious. The sun is in 10th house at noon. So when it's shining it's with this brightest energy. So when the sun is up there at noon, everyone can see it, all of it. So the things that Taurus start right now, and this area of their life will be visible for other people. It's not about working on your own in the corner behind the scenes. No, it's about stepping up and not being afraid of attention. Sometimes I know this could be an issue for some of us. No, we shouldn't be afraid of that. We should open up and share our knowledge, our idea, whatever. We should share it that openly with the outer world. And the good thing is that usually the rewards are also visible. So for Taurus, this could be a really pivotal time for their career and overall for results. And as I said, in terms of their authority status, social status, and so on. Gemini. For Gemini, the new moon will trigger a very comfortable sign, a very comfortable position, which Gemini usually like to focus on. It's the area of knowledge. It's the area of knowing how to visualize your future. It's about setting goals, philosophy, knowledge, traveling. Hopefully that will be an option soon. So think about it. Is there something that you want to learn? Do you need to expand your knowledge in a certain way, especially when it comes to something more philosophical, something which is beyond the things that we can measure and we can see with our own eyes, but a little bit in the, from a more philosophical perspective, but things that open up your mind for a different vision. Okay, so great time to focus on education, on future goals, on your own philosophy, on more positivity. In my opinion, this is one of the most harmonious positions. So for Gemini, the benefits can be great. For Cancer, my rising sign friends, the new moon is not very easy on us, honestly, guys. It will trigger the deepest, kind of like most complicated house in the chart, which is 8th house. And this brings some really serious topics. It's about transformation, emotional healing, thinking about questions like, or topics like death and rebirth, like transforming your pain. So it may not feel really easy, honestly, but it can be very beneficial if you are ready to work with your shadow and if you are ready to work with your past. Especially for Cancer, this is not a fun new moon, so to speak. But again, the biggest changes, the biggest transformations, they happen when we are challenged. So I would invite you to work with those past painful emotions, trauma, and all of those serious things that we want to kind of like put under the carpet in a way, but also the things that we don't want to admit. I'm a huge fan of Carl Jung. In my opinion, he's a genius psychologist, and one of the greatest gifts, the greatest insights in his work and theory is about the human shadow, the psychological shadow, which is something that applies to every human being. We all have qualities that we don't like, and we try to pretend that they are not part of us. And consciously, we might be so good at that consciously we believe it, that it's not part of us. but that's just a suppressed shadow. That's something that we don't want to accept. And of course, it bounces back as problems, as other people who provoke us. So this new moon, especially with Jupiter, with Venus, with Saturn here triggered at the same time, can be great for bringing more light and seeing things clearly, and also admitting, working with our shadow. That's especially relevant if you have certain confrontations with other people, something which annoys you in your life, and it comes all over again as a theme. It repeats the same type of relationships, the same type of patterns. When something is repeating in your life, it means that, you know, there is a hook, but also it resonates with a part of you that maybe you don't recognize. So for Cancer specifically, it's a great time to focus on this shadow and healing it. It's an exceptional transformation that can be achieved. I can talk about the shadow and this type of psychological work for a really long time, but I'm afraid that the other signs might get a little mad with us. So let's move on. The other thing is that more or less this applies to everyone. With this powerful combination, it's about opening ourselves for the truth. This is the theme of Aquarius, and also the square from Uranus with all of these planets there. To open your eyes for also the unpleasant truth, or the truth that might be shocking, might be uncomfortable. So, as I said, it also applies to everyone else. For Leo, the most important area is relationships and partnerships. Do you want to start a new relationship? Do you need to work on the model and the patterns of your relationship? That's a great question to ask yourself. For some people, this may really bring an important person in their life, like a new relationship, new attraction. For others, of course, those can be business partnerships. But the important thing here is to observe other people around you. We know that the closest people around you, and not only the closest, other people around us, they are like mirrors for us. And Aquarius is right in front of Leo, right in the opposite of Leo. So it's your mirror in a way. Observe other people. They are your mirror, and you may also find some important insights about yourself. Again, it could be related to your shadow. Again, it could be related to your own beliefs or values, or your own standards or your own limitations. So open up for the truth. For some people, this may mean to tell the truth to a dear person, or maybe to find solutions to some kind of situation. And also, it could be about making a radical change in this life. If you are in an unhappy relationship, this radical change could be that you are saying no more. That's the end of it. Also an option. That's what we call the happy divorce or happy separation, which with Jupiter, by the way, is a pretty common thing. With Jupiter in 7th house, the first thing we think of is, okay, a new relationship, you fall in love, it's great. But in reality, or at least in some cases, the improvement may represent a happy separation. When you are already done with this person, you are no longer, you don't want to be together. But again, the focus is other people, also your reputation, how other people see you, your image. That's pretty important for Leo, their image and their reputation, especially if you work with an audience, if you are a performer, if you are an artist, if you are a consultant. That's a pretty big group of people with different, careers and professions. This is also important for your interaction, your positioning in front of your audience or your community. And this could be a great time to show them a different side, or to open up, or to do something that you want to be noticed by this audience and this group. Okay, Virgo. For Virgo, the main trigger is related to health, work, and overall your daily habits, your daily routines. You can make radical changes there. You may experience, or you may feel this flow of energy and desire to start something new, something that you want to grow. It's a great time for reassessing your goals in terms of your career, your business. Some people might be promoted, other people may realize that they are finally ready to start their own thing. So the major focus is work, your daily life, your daily habits, and also your health. We shouldn't neglect the health theme. This might be the time to try something new. With my on my previous webinar with my astrology students, we were talking about homeopathy, and I was honestly quite surprised. They shared with me that in the US, people have a different concept of homeopathy, that they consider this to be related to herbs, and it's something different. From my perspective and the popular understanding here in Europe, homeopathy is, and I won't talk much about it, honestly, because that's also a favorite theme of mine. It's just a very interesting, kind of modern, but also a very, with a philosophy type of healing. It's an energy healing. It's a healing of the new era also. It's related to Aquarius. There are other energies which are mixed as well. So why am I saying this? Because for Virgo, this could be the time to maybe try something different, especially if health is a theme that you need to work on. If you struggle with certain condition, with something chronic, or you just have a problem, my advice would be to, first of all, take responsibility for this situation of your life. Don't wait for someone else to come and heal you magically, but think about what you can do to help yourself. Can you find a new diet, a new health regime? Do you need some kind of different physical exercises or program? And also, again, I really suggest something alternative, something modern. It could be homeopathy, it could be something else that resonates with you. But focus on this area, you can really make a big shift. Okay, next we have Libra. For Libra, the trigger is also quite positive, and it affects romance, love, children, creativity, and having fun. You need to pay more attention to this area. You need to focus on that. And at the same time, to find more joy. Fifth house, that's the house which is triggered for Libra, is probably my favorite house, together with ninth house, I guess. The most important that it represents is about our heart. By our heart, I don't mean physically, I mean our truest desires. And when you have 6 planets with the new moon that trigger this area of your life, you really need to pay more attention. Are you listening to your heart? I think that nowadays it's quite common. It's kind of a pattern. We live mostly intellectually, we pursue goals. And I'm not saying that this is bad. I'm not saying that we should live somewhere in the mountains, forget about the real world. But if you are detached from your heart, you won't find happiness anywhere. No money, no status, no achievements will make you fulfilled if you haven't listened to your heart. So for Libra, this is, I guess, the major theme. Are you true to your heart? Are you listening to your heart? Or maybe you are neglecting your desires. And that includes also self-love. That includes doing the things that you enjoy, that brings you nice, positive emotions. Another very popular theme, of course, love and romance. Usually it's very close to Libra as an energy. So, of course, a great time to concentrate on that, to if you want a partner, if you want to fall in love, if you want to date with new people, it's a great time. You have to be responsible. With Saturn being there, we talk about dating with the right people. We talk about finding a reliable partner. We talk about also some kind of stability in this area. And of course, creativity. This is also a favorite theme of mine. By creativity, I don't mean that you need to be a famous artist. You don't need to be a famous musician or whatever. By creativity, I understand doing things in your own way, in your own unique way. And you may do things creatively, even when it comes to boring stuff. You might be creative when you play with your children, when you play with your pets, when you cook, when I guess when you organize your house. So I think that sometimes we are limiting ourselves, and when we say creativity, some people say, oh no, I'm not a creative person. You might be actually, but you have to try. And again, just follow your passion. That's the thing about fifth house. It's following your passion. So for Libra overall, I think that romance, emotions, listening to their heart, following their creative impulse, which are frankly some really positive themes. Moving on to Scorpio, the Sirius. I really love this sign, honestly. I really love it. Very deep, very intense sign. Also a sign which is very private. And for Scorpio, this new moon also triggers a very private area of their life. From a psychological perspective, it's the connection with the inner child. From another perspective, it's the connection with your roots, with your ancestors, with your family tree. From the most practical perspective, so to speak, this is your home environment, your current home environment, the people that live with you, your place, your home. And those themes will be really accentuated. We talked about Cancer and how they can work with their shadow. This is also relevant to Scorpio, because the house that is triggered in their chart is also related to our past, related to our deeper secrets, to our deeper emotions. And also, fourth house represents our foundation. Even if you look at the chart right now, this is fourth house, it's the lowest point. So this is kind of like your feet. What are you stepping on? Your foundation. So for Scorpio, this might be an important theme to find. And usually you are finding this first inside of yourself, this inner foundation, this inner feeling that, you can handle with life. Even in this crazy world situation, You have to find the stability inside of yourself. As I said, working with the inner child, with some suppressed emotions, with childhood memories, childhood trauma, releasing, forgiving, looking at that from a different perspective. It's just an amazing time. From the more practical things, it could be about solving certain property situations, property issues. Maybe some will decide to settle down, or that they need a change, or that they want to live in a different place. That's totally irrelevant, and it's a great time actually to work on that and to do something that will help you feel more connected. The question for Scorpio is, do you feel connected with your closest environment? The people around you, the place around you, the place within you as well. So it's, yeah, a more private thing, which may not be necessarily visible to others. It's something that you need to do more with yourself and on your own. Okay, for Sagittarius, the main things that will be triggered, the most important themes are about communication, the social circle, friendship, but also your skills, the things that you know, your knowledge. But the knowledge here is really practical, not so much about philosophical ideas or, you know, something that's irrelevant to the material world. That's not the right direction. For Sagittarius, the best area is about the practical skills, something that you can learn maybe over a short time or a reasonably short time. And then you can apply that, you can use that to make your life better, to help other people in your work, in whatever you want to. So concentrate on your skills. Do you want to learn something new? Do you need to master something? And also ideas. This is the world, the area of ideas. Do you need some kind of insight? Do you need some kind of new direction? Focus on that. And yeah, one more thing also, contacts. This actually resonates really well with the sign. Aquarius is an air sign, which is related to communities, to bigger groups. And for Sagittarius, it triggers one house, which is also related to the contacts we have with other people. So this may turn out to be a great time for you to establish new contacts, meaningful contacts, people that will help you to look at things from a different perspective, or will teach you something, or you may do business together. Obviously, the situation will be different for everyone, but concentrate on those contacts. If you are considering joining a mastermind group, for example, that's one of the best times to do that. Okay, my sun sign friends, the Capricorns. For us, this new moon triggers a really practical area of life, area which is related to our finances, our resources, our own energy, but also the material results, the completion of things. So the major focus for us is not only to start something new. That would be a theme for Aquarius, the pure focus on the action, on the new direction. But that's not enough for Capricorn. For Capricorn, we also need to concentrate on not only the action, but also what's the outcome that we want and how we can make this real. Again, there is a chance here. I don't want to say a risk, but there is a chance. Okay, I almost said that it's a risk, that with too much Aquarius energy, with too much Uranian energy, we can be really idealistic about things. We can think, we can analyze, we can focus on concepts, on the vision. That's a risk. The risk is that we may stay only on this level, which doesn't bring you anything real. So for Capricorn, the most important question is, how can I turn this into something real, into something practical? Not only the action, but also the result that you are pursuing. And of course, the common popular themes like money, like your resources, to maybe find more stability, or maybe make a change in that, or maybe finally take an action that will help you to have this stability or to achieve your goals in this area. And one more thing that we shouldn't neglect, our physical energy. Do you nurture your body in a nice way? Are you paying attention to your nutrition, your energy balance, all of that? We can't achieve any significant results if we don't have the inner resource, which means the inner energy. So if you are struggling, that's especially relevant for Capricorns. If you are struggling with materializing things in your life, especially when it comes to financial stuff, the solution will come from balancing your inner energy. If internally you don't have access to it, or it's not flowing, or whatever, or you're wasting it, or it's blocked, it's almost impossible to do something, to create something stable. So a great direction, energy balance, and everything that comes with it: food, exercise, sleep. You may have your own other sources as well. And next, of course, for Aquarius, I think that all of that applies to Aquarius, everything that we said so far, because for Aquarius, their own personality is triggered, which means your personal qualities, your personal goals, your appearance, your behavior, your own patterns, your own blockages. So I can go on and on and on. The point here, or the essence of all of that, is that you are the main player right now. You shouldn't, for example, for Leo, we said, look at other people, they are your mirror. For Scorpio, for example, we said, work with the inner shadow, or work with your family. Don't search for the answer out of yourself. For Aquarius, it's about everything that affects you personally. I already mentioned it, I won't repeat it too much, but it's really, really important. This is the best time to set up new goals, to change what needs to be changed, to take some reasonable risks, especially if there is something that you know it's important. I know that it will help me to grow, but I'm afraid. I'm not sure if I'm ready, or what will other people say, or, you know, all this internal chat that we might have. Step up and take action. As I said, the main idea here is the flow of energy. Your main focus should be the action. Of course, more or less, we are always thinking about the result or the actual goal, but sometimes we may lose ourselves in all of this planning, or, you know, the process might be different. For you, the best strategy is to focus on the pure action. And I know that many times we advise people, you know, from a psychological manifestation perspective, visualize the outcome, you know, it will pull you, it will get you there. I'm not saying it doesn't work, I'm not saying it's bad, but for you this time, the better strategy is to focus on the action, on the direction, and I guess to go a little bit with the flow. So yeah, I won't repeat for the 10th time that it's very important. I will just say the last thing. It's definitely the most important new moon during the whole year for Aquarius, but in my opinion, also for everyone else, because of this exceptional combination of planets there. And the last sign, our Pisces friends. For Pisces, the triggered area is 12th house. Also, look how I'm slowing. This is another thing very interesting. In my lecture, I'm noticing that when you start describing something, you get into this energy, into its energy. So when I was talking about first house for Aquarius, I was like, you know, move forward. It's a fiery energy. Now we are switching to a totally different situation, which is 12th house. So we need to slow down our conversation, but also that's of course relevant for Pisces. You, my friends, need to slow down. You need a retrospection. You need to make a deeper self-analysis of your past, of your own emotional, psychological well-being. For you, it's also relevant to work with the hidden parts, the shadow, the blockages, the blind spots, in some cases the trauma, or the things that we don't want other people to see or we don't want to see in ourselves. It's a great time to start a new spiritual practice or something that will connect you also with your inner self, and I would even say with your higher self. Especially if you are into meditation or some retreats. For example, a silent retreat would be a great thing to recharge, to let go, it's really powerful. So I would recommend that for Pisces. So a closer look to your internal world, to your past, and completing the things that it's time to be completed. By that, I mean you either decide, because of course we all have different things. We start them, some we finish, with others we are kind of in the middle, others are like somewhere in the closet. Look at all of those things and decide. You may decide to complete it. It may take a time, of course. I'm not saying that this should happen over 2 weeks, but make the decision. Okay, I want this to happen, so I will follow through. And if something else is no longer relevant, don't leave it in the closet. Get it out of your system, out of your energy field, so to speak. So reassessment, reevaluation, and the most important, completion. And I think that it's also highly recommended to spend some time alone. Maybe you need to relax. Maybe you need to just slow down to take care of your emotional well-being, whatever the case might be. And if you are a little disappointed because, for example, you also want to be like Aquarius and or like Taurus, you know, the signs that will have those visible changes and transformations and all the action, which I understand. Sometimes we all want this, but if you are disappointed that it's not you, keep in mind that you are right behind this step. You are at the very last step of the current road, the current path. But first you need to handle with that, as I said, analyze, complete, or let go, and then you will be ready for the upcoming new beginning, which of course will come for you as well. Okay, so that, my friends, is our prediction If you have any questions, you are welcome to type them in the chat. And I also want to explain and share with you how we will do all of this process and transformation together if you want to join us. And I know that we have a lot of people already in the program. Create Your Own Year. Nelly, if you can please post the link if someone is interested in joining us and they haven't done it yet. I want to explain to you how we are going to do this. From the 12th of February, within 12 days, we will focus on the most important life areas. And we will have some concrete assignments that everyone should complete on their own. And the other thing is that there will be also an EFT practice. If you are not familiar with EFT, this is a method which is part of the energy psychology methods. I won't go too much into technical details. What I will say is that you can imagine this as psychological acupressure. Sometimes for some people it looks strange. If you are already using it, you know it works amazingly. You don't care how it looks for others. We are tapping on specific acupuncture points, which are part of the meridians, the energy system of our body. That's, you know, part of the Chinese medicine. And by using this practice, we can release blockages. The most powerful thing is that the EFT practice allows us to connect to our subconscious mind. And you know that our major problems are there. If you want something in your life consciously, but you don't have it, the reason, but also the solution, is in your subconscious mind. So with the EFT practice, we will concentrate on one area and we work on releasing the blockages and visualizing what we want to manifest in this area. So for 12 days, we are going through all the life themes. The interesting part about this program is that there are 2 times when you can do the program that will be extremely beneficial. One is right now, together with the Chinese New Year, with the new moon in Aquarius, which means the 12th of February. The other time is on your birthday, whenever that might be. On your birthday, you can start and do the absolutely same program. And frankly, you can do it at any other time that you just need to reset your life. You need to do a lot of intense work and to kind of like move to another level or handle with something which maybe you don't even understand where is that coming from. So a very exciting, very interesting program. I have done this, of course, in a very time-efficient way, which means that the videos will be as short as possible. And yeah, I'm really trying to get all the fluff out of the conversation, so we just only focus on the most practical things. I know we are all busy, so no wasted time. After the 12-day program ends, my advice is to take each day, the practice of each day, and practice it for 1 month, or at least for a week. And if you're really serious about that, in the next 1 year, you will go through each area of your life. And it's fine if certain area is not that important right now. You can skip it or do it for a week. But this will really allow you to concentrate and really, really change things for yourself. I want to clarify something here. I'm not promising you some magical results that you will just lay on comfortably on your couch. I will talk to you and the magic will happen. Unfortunately, I don't know the ways to do that for you. But what I know is that the consistent small efforts can bring incredible changes. And the funny thing about the consistent small changes is that we have less resistance. If you have tried to start a diet, for example, you want to improve your health, you want to lose weight, whatever, if you have experience in this area with different approaches, maybe you have also tried to do it radically. Like from tomorrow, I will have this, very strict diet. And maybe after a couple of days, 1-2 weeks, you feel like you're torturing yourself, or maybe you start to sabotage yourself. It doesn't work. But at the same time, we tend to neglect the small changes. For example, to have one healthy meal during the day. I know for myself that I definitely used to be like that. It's either black or white. So I have to do it 100% or I won't do it at all. It's not the best strategy, honestly. We have less resistance when we try to make smaller changes. And why am I saying this? Because in this program, we will focus on that. We will focus on the small changes, but consistent changes that eventually will bring this transformation. So don't neglect. I will repeat this in the program. I will remind you this. Okay, so I'm really excited. I will do the program together with you. Each day I will follow all the advice that I'm giving to you. So we will all be together in the process. If you are doing this on your birthday, you will do it mostly on your own, but it's still working pretty well. So again, I'm offering you a system, a program that will take some of your time, but also will allow you to make changes the way you want them to be. I won't tell, okay, I won't go too much in details, but you will see for yourself that. And why are we doing this right now? Because of this picture here that we see. Because this new moon can allow us to make the radical transformations, the big transformations. The insights, the motivation can be really high. All of that is extremely supportive. Okay, I am done with my presentation and now I'm ready for your questions. I will take a look at the chat, but I won't be able to go through the beginning. There is a question. Okay. I would like to ask about the new moon. Technically, it's at 23 degrees Aquarius. No, it's 24 degrees. I want to remind you or let you know if you haven't heard it, that the degrees are counted in the same way like we count the centuries. For example, 1958, the year 1958, that's during the 20th century, not the 19th. So don't look at the first number here. 23 degrees and 20 minutes, this is the 24th degree. just clarifying this because sometimes there are questions, misunderstandings. That's the right way to count the degrees, like the centuries. Okay. Okay, that's a very good question. When is the best time to set intentions? The 11th of February with the energy of Aquarius, or the 13th of February with the Pisces energy when the moon is visible? That's a very nice question. I would say the best time is the actual new moon. The fact that the moon is invisible, because the moon is always invisible on new moons, is not a problem for us, because that's when you plant the seed. Imagine, I'm always trying to compare how things happen in real life with objects, with real stuff. Imagine when you are planting a seed, you don't see it, it's under the ground, and it's not supposed to be seen. There were some interesting comics, like someone planting something and then they kind of like, you know, open the ground to see, okay, is it grown already? No, it's not. You have to wait for this, you know, nurture it, water it, and so on, but it's growing with time. So the invisible moon is not a problem. Actually, it's supposed to be like that. The seed is being planted and the manifestation is not here yet, but that's absolutely not a problem. Real things, they need time to happen, to materialize, to grow. So my advice would be on the 11th, that's Thursday, I believe, write your intentions. Write your intentions for what you want to have, what you want to happen in your life until the end of the year, I would say. So that was a great question. Would a 0-degree Pisces have a first house influence in addition to a 12th house influence because it's near? No, in this case, Rhonda, for conjunctions between planets and cusps of houses, I'm more strict with the orbis. I would use 5-degree orbis. So with the 5th, there will be 7-degree orbis. It's not impossible, let's put it this way. It's not impossible, but I think that the major influence is on your 12th house in this case. How are natal aspects to Uranus impacted by the stellium in Aquarius? I'm afraid, Renee, you need to clarify your question. The stronger or more accentuated Uranus is in your chart, the more you will resonate with this energy, the more you will be triggered by it. And of course, if you have some Aquarius energy, that's even stronger. Jupiter and Venus and the Moon are in my 10th house and will be trining my natal Libra Venus in my 6th house. Is this good? My honest opinion is that absolutely everything can be good. It really depends. It happens in a different way. There are easy ways and there are challenging ways. But when we are open for the change or to be part of the process, let's put it this way. When we are ready to be part of the process, for some people, this could mean to be more initiative, for others to analyze more, for a third group to take risks. But when we participate in the process, everything can be good. I'm interested in connecting with like-minded people and gradually distance myself from people closer to me. Which house should I focus on? 11th house of my birth chart. Boy, what a interesting and complicated question, honestly. To be very honest with you, I really need to see the whole chart because I feel like there are other triggers. It sounds a little bit like a Saturn influence, but another thing for Aquarius, by the way, is that it's well known for its social connections, to be part of the group, to be willing to connect with communities and so on. But something specific, if Aquarius, this energy doesn't find appropriate connections, by appropriate I mean those that really share your beliefs or your ideals or whatever, they will prefer to be on their own instead of being with others who are just not on their level or whatever the case, they don't understand them. So with the strong Aquarius energy, sometimes we might experience this detachment, but it's detachment for people who honestly you just don't have anything in common with. So less meaningful small talk, I guess. And it's a challenge sometimes, but when you find this community, the right community, the right people, it's totally different. What about the north? What about the new moon falling on the north node and the cusp of 7th? That's a very strong trigger. It means that you have the potential to move in a new direction that is important for your future. It's kind of like taking or finding your own path or connecting with your own mission or understanding better what you are supposed to do. And probably all of that will happen in connection with other people because it's in 7th house, most probably. But that's a also very strong trigger. And in this case, you need to focus on the qualities of Aquarius. The qualities are being open-minded, being connected to other people as equal, as a team. Especially as far as I understand, your ascendant is in Leo, with the south node there. This is a position of someone who is a leader and more or less is used or good at leading others or dominating. So you need to learn to be more diplomatic, to listen to other people, to be a democrat also. I don't mean in a political way, by no means. I mean it as a philosophy, as the way you communicate with other people. Okay, so thank you very much for your time, for your questions. It was really nice for me. Just let me stop the share. Okay. It was really pleasant to spend this time. I'm really excited. And I hope that this new moon overall will help us to connect more to our human nature. Aquarius is the sign of humanity. So I would like to invite you, I'm improvising right now, but would you like to make just for 1 minute a very quick visualization together? So I hope you are open to do that together. And if you feel comfortable, you may close your eyes. Try to relax your body for a moment, just for a moment. And very quickly scan your whole body. How do you feel? Is there some kind of tension? If there is, just send the positive energy there, relax it. Don't push it, don't do anything. Deep breath. And think about something nice, something that you are grateful for. I'm grateful for this opportunity to share this time and space with you. I'm grateful that I'm healthy. I'm grateful for the opportunity to help other people to learn new things. Just mention a couple of things for yourself. What are you grateful for? Your children or your pets or your work or your books or something else that you love. And think about this new moon and everything that we discussed. If you have a photographic memory, try to visualize the chart that we just worked with. If you don't have, don't worry, just keep the thought about it in your mind. That's fine as well. Just connect with this, with those planets there. So powerful, so strong. And ask for a guidance. Ask for a message. Intuitively, just feel it, hear it, whatever works for you. What do you need to do? Is it time for something new? Is there an action you need to take? Is there a step that you are ready to make? Do you need to believe more in yourself? What comes to my mind is I want to believe in the positive future. As general as this may sound, I want to believe in the positive future for everyone, for all of us, not for me, for everyone, for humanity, for our wonderful planet. And if you want, you can set an intention spontaneously, what's coming to your mind right now. Set one intention. And you can imagine this intention as a ball of energy. And you are sending it towards the sky. Aquarius and Uranus, they rule the sky. So send your wonderful ball of energy with your intention towards the sky. And let every drop of rain expand and nurture it. The sunlight, everything that touches it, to expand it. And imagine how your ball of energy with intention is connecting to the balls of others, to their energy, their intentions. And together we are forming very big, very bright, very positive ball of energy with positive intentions. And we are sending our energy there so that it grows for the highest good of everyone. And allow this ball to stay there. Allow it to be there in the sky and be nurtured every day, especially with the upcoming new moon. The light of the sun and the light of the moon will take good care of your ball of energy with intention. Okay, say it goodbye for now, but only for now, because soon it will be part of your life when the right time comes. And slowly bring back your attention to your body, to your breath. And whenever you are ready, you can gently open your eyes. Okay, move a little bit in the chair, your feet with the ground. Thank you so much for your energy, for your time, for your dedication. And I'm sure that I will see you really soon on my YouTube channel, in our classes, with our emails. Okay. Great. People have already signed up. Thank you, Marie. Great. Okay. Have a wonderful day, week, and happy new moon to everyone.